Growth ETFs are one of the easiest ways to give your portfolio exposure to companies that have been beating the market. But not all growth ETFs are created equal. And so today's video, I'm going to talk about 5 different Vanguard specific growth ETFs. I'm going to start with the most conservative option and work up to the most aggressive option that has absolutely crushed the S&P 500 over the last 10 years. Real quick, if you're new here, my name is Cade and I'm growing a following of over 55,000 people across X in my newsletter by sharing my learnings and mistakes of building a 6-figure investment portfolio in my 20s. And now I'm just doing the exact same thing on YouTube. So if you're into that and you want to follow along with the journey, hit the subscribe button down below and let's go ahead and get into the background rules that we're going to talk about for each of these ETFs. All these are going to be compared against the S&P 500. These are all Vanguard ETFs as well, like I said. And then for each fund, we're going to dive into the individual holdings of each, the sector allocation of each one, the inception date of it, how long it's been around, and then talk about the expense ratio as well, so you can get a full picture of exactly what you're buying when you invest into one of these ETFs. And at the end, I'm going to show a complete head-to-head comparison of each one, just so you can see exactly what your money would have done invested in each of those. The first fund we are going to talk about is VIG, which is Vanguard's Dividend Appreciation ETF. And this might be the most unique one on this list because it's technically not even a growth ETF. What VIG does is it looks at companies that have a history of growing their dividends and invests into those companies. And so the idea of this fund really hasn't been to buy high-paying dividend companies, but really focus on businesses that are growing their revenues and increasing their dividend. And inherently through that strategy, VIG has returned very well and has been competing with a lot of other growth ETF names out there. VIG currently holds a little bit over 330 companies and is one of the most diversified ETFs on this list, and is one of the reasons that I've actually put it on its list. And similar to all these other Vanguard funds, it has a very low expense ratio of 0.04%, which means you are going to be paying $4 a year on every $10,000 you have invested. Looking at some of the top holdings for VIG, we have Broadcom, Apple, Microsoft, ExxonMobil, Lam Research, Visa, Walmart. And take a mental screenshot of the weight of these holdings that you see on VIG. Even the top holdings, are around that 5% mark, which is significantly different than a lot of these other ETFs that we were going to talk about. So it's also fairly balanced on the sector allocation side of things. Technology is around 27%, financials around 20%, healthcare roughly 18%, followed by industrials, which are around 12%, and the consumer staples, which are roughly around 9%. As far as performance goes for VIG, we're looking at a 10-year annual performance of around 13% on average. And for comparison, the S&P 500 has averaged around 15% over the same time frame. Seeing that return, you might be thinking, Cade, why is this one on the list? It's historically underperformed the S&P 500, and that's a fair point. My take on this one is, the reason I put it on the list is that if you're looking to invest into an ETF that still has good growth potential without having such a heavy allocation to tech like a lot of these other growth ETFs do, VIG would be my pick for that. You're getting exposure to companies that have a history of profitability and a history of increasing their dividends, and so they should have a decent return into the future. And so of all the options on this list, I'd probably consider VIG to be the most conservative growth ETF option. Coming in at number 4 is VBK, which is Vanguard's small cap growth ETF. And with this fund, we're going to take a complete twist because VBK doesn't actually have any exposure to the large growth tech names that all of these other funds do. VBK goes after small cap companies. So you are investing in companies that have the potential to grow into those big names like Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, before they actually reach that point. It still has a low expense ratio at 0.05%, and so that's $5 on every $10,000 you have invested. I'll show a screenshot of the holdings, but I won't dive into each of them individually because a lot of them are names that most people don't know. But what I will do is point out on the sector side for the allocation, your industrials is 22%, your healthcare is 18%, your technology exposure is around 23%, and then you're looking at consumer discretionary and financial companies coming in at a little bit less than 8%. Historically, VBK has averaged around a 10.75% annual return. Small caps have historically gone through long periods of overperformance and underperformance, so it's really no telling what VBK might do over the next 10 years. That said, I think it's one of the most interesting ones on this list because if you own something like VOO that's inherently super heavy into the large or mega cap names, VBK gives you a way to invest outside of those. Though you are signing up for a little bit more volatility, most likely, you can still have some growth potential with this ETF. Coming in at number 3 is going to be VUG, which is Vanguard's Growth ETF, and now we are going to be getting into more of the traditional growth ETF names. VUG has a little bit over 140 holdings and traditionally invests into companies that have a strong growth potential in the US market. Its expense ratio is one of the lowest ones that we've talked about yet, and I'm a huge fan of low expense ratios, and this one comes in at 0.03%, which is only $3 on every $10,000 you have invested, and it's the lowest one that we've talked about so far. Looking at the top holdings of VUG, we'll see a lot of those growth names that you would likely expect. Nvidia taking up around 13% of VUG by itself. Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, Broadcom, all following it. And this is something that I want to point out because, yes, VUG holds around 150 stocks. But if you look at the actual weight of these inside of VUG, the majority of your money is going into those top few holdings. And so make sure you are aware that when you're buying a fund like this, yes, there's 150 stocks, but you're technically not really putting very much money into those other 140, compared to the top 10, especially the top 5 in this ETF. Sector allocation for VUG is obviously dominated by tech at around 55%, but you also have some meaningful exposure to the communication sector at 16% and also consumer discretionary at around 11%. Looking at the historical performance for VUG, we'll see that it has been a massive beneficiary of those big tech names and those mega cap names running up over the last 10 years, and it has averaged an annual return of around 17%. And so the question is, will that continue? Who knows what the market is going to do, but if the mega cap and those big tech names do take a hit, VUG's performance will as well. It's a super cheap growth ETF though. It's done well historically, and for those two reasons, it is one of my favorite growth ETFs on this list. If you want more information on some of my favorite ETFs, I'll link a free PDF down below of 5 ETFs that I plan to hold forever. So link will be in the description for that. It's totally free. Pick it up if you want to. Coming in at number 2 is MGK, which is Vanguard's Mega Cap Growth ETF. And what MGK basically does is it takes VUG's sector allocation and tech exposure and just turns it up a notch. The expense ratio for MGK is 0.05%, so it's a little bit more expensive than VUG. But if we look at the top holdings, you'll see this portfolio also gets concentrated very quickly, with Nvidia representing around 13.5%, Apple around 13%, Microsoft roughly 9%, and the other major positions still including Google, Amazon, Broadcom, Meta, Tesla, and those other big names that we were traditionally used to. Once again, a massive amount of your allocation is in the top 10 holdings for MGK, so over 60% of the money you put into MGK is going to go into those top 10 holdings. And looking at the sector information, we'll see that concentration as well, with the tech sector being at around 58%, communication services, the next biggest one, at around 17%, followed by consumer discretionary at around 11%. The performance though of MGK has actually squeaked out VUG though, with a 10-year average annual performance of 18%. So that is putting a pretty good whipping on the S&P 500 average of 15% over the last 10 years. And obviously this ETF is extremely dependent on the largest companies in America continuing to do well. And so that's pretty much the bet you're making with this, is that like, hey, I don't actually just want growth companies. I want to invest heavily into the biggest names in America, and I'm going to make a very specific bet on those companies. And so if that's a strategy that you like and think something that you think will continue to do well, MGK is going to be a great growth ETF for you. And if you thought the concentration couldn't get any more crazy after looking at those last 2 ETFs, here's our number 1, which is VGT, Vanguard's Tech ETF. This is the most aggressive ETF on this list, and it's technically not even a growth ETF, but just because of recent performance, there's no way you could leave VGT off of a growth ETF list. It's actually a sector specific ETF, so 100% of holdings in VGT are invested into the tech side of things. And so not only are you making a bet on a handful of very specific companies, you are making a bet on a very specific sector when you buy VGT. The expense ratio of this fund is 0.09%, which is $9 on every $10,000 you have invested, but as you'll see, the performance backs that number up. If we look at the top holdings, we'll see that Nvidia at the top once again at around 17%, Apple around 16%, Microsoft around 11%, and just those 3 companies represent, over 40% of this ETF alone. And if we take a look at the sector allocation, it becomes extremely obvious that this is a sector-specific ETF, as it's 100% invested into information technology. And so I don't think that is actually very good to show. It's probably better to actually look at the industry exposure for VGT. So if we take a look at that, semiconductors are around 42%, systems and software around 25%, and technology and hardware at around 20%. And just because it's a sector ETF like this, it's a very important distinction from something like VUG or MGK, because you're completely removing that exposure to healthcare or financials. So if one of those sectors was to do well in the future and outperform tech, you would not have any exposure to those sectors in VGT. That said though, VGT hasn't had any issues with that over the last 10 years, as its annual return has averaged around 24%, which has beat the S&P 500 annually by around 9%. My quick take on VGT is I really wouldn't look at it as, hey, this is the best ETF on the list. This is really just the most concentrated ETF on this list that has happened to have concentration to the best sector over the last 10, 15, 20 years. And so just keep that in mind if you are buying VGT. It's not technically a growth ETF. You're making a very specific bet. And so just remember that when you decide to purchase it or if you decide to invest into VGT. I'll throw up the head-to-head chart real quick. I won't touch on each of these individually, but the main thing I just wanted to point out is, the potential of a growth fund in your portfolio, right? VGT turning $10,000 into almost $190,000 in under 20 years. You're not going to get that out of any dividend fund. I hate to tell you, but that's just the truth, right? So if you're young or you are someone who wants to see continued growth in your portfolio, I think it's extremely important to have some allocation to growth ETFs. These are 5 that I think are great. Leave a comment down below if there's a Vanguard Growth ETF you think I'm missing. I'll likely make a video in the future on my favorite growth ETFs overall as well. Thank you for watching though. I'll leave my Investing for Beginners playlist right here and an upload that you will also like right here. I'll see you in the next video.